Here's what we will cover this week. 1. The basic concepts MHR, AFA, ESS, MTF, and AYF. 2. Strength training. 3. Speed interval training. 4. Stretching. 5. Hold mode, coast mode, and race mode. 6. The use of MHR in other disciplines, half marathon, 10K, triathlon, ultra running. 7. The 9-mile marathon ultra endurance run walk concept. 8. The concept of A, B, and C races. Whoa, that's a lot. A monster module. So don't lose any time now. Let's jump right into it. In today's module, we are going to cover the basic concepts MHR, AFA, ESS, MTF, and AYF. By now you know everything about MHR, your marathon heart rate, the heart and soul of the 9-mile marathon training concept. We fully addressed MHR in modules 4 and 5 of week 1. ESS, the metabolic energy supply switch, we will address in every detail in next week 3, with a lot of hands-on assignments and action items. MTF, the 9-mile concept of manageable running technique under fatigue, we will address in week 4, again with lots of hands-on tasks and action items. So for today we will address As You Feel and the concept of accumulated fatigue avoidance, AFA. Now let's start with the first one. AYF stands for As You Feel. When today would be an As You Feel day, I would tell you this. Today is the next As You Feel day. Today you are free to do anything, any sport, walk, hike, CrossFit, yoga, swim, bike, as long as it is not intense, neither in length nor intensity. And yes, you can also run, but if you do, not too long, like max 2 to 3 miles. On your As You Feel day, I prefer to do something completely different. I'm convinced this is very beneficial for your body and mind, and they will really like it a lot. Oh, and don't forget, As You Feel means you can rest as well. Or just be with your family, friends, kids. Everything is okay. It's really as you feel. It is the next step in your 9-mile journey. As You Feel is an important part of the 9-mile training system. In every 9-mile training schedule, you will find As You Feel days. Some runners will find it hard to read a book, to be lazy, just go out for a walk with a family member, to cook something special, to interrupt the regular training patterns. But with the 9-mile marathon training concept, As You Feel days become an important and integrated part of the marathon training program. As You Feel has so much to do with the mental, the inner game. We will address the inner game in the second part of the Marathon Running Mastery program. The inner game modules will help you to better understand the importance of As You Feel days, why they actually help you to perform better, why they actually help you to run a better, stronger, and faster marathon. I have created an AFA pinup for you to print out and put it on your wall called the OK 9-mile finisher pinup. Be sure to print it out and to have a look at it frequently. Now I have this assignment for you today. I have this worksheet for you called Help As You Feel Day. It's a challenging assignment. I want you to write down 50 things you can do on your As You Feel days. Examples? Read a book, play piano, cook a carb-free pizza, have a coffee with a good friend, call a family member, clean up that messy corner in your home, have a walk with someone you haven't seen for a while, Have a walk on your own. Take the time to discuss something with someone. Write that letter you wanted to. Repair something. Buy something you always wanted. Give someone a present. Make a list of priorities. Take a haircut. Make an appointment with a physio for something you have neglected. Inform yourself about something you always wanted to. Take a nap. Watch your kids play their sports. Go with a friend to his or her activity. Have a talk with someone you don't know. Say hello to strangers in the mall. Reread an old module in your Marathon Mastery program. Buy a new printer because the one you have is slowly crashing. Buy a nice new pen. Find that song on Spotify you forgot. Watch a movie your friend told you should. Watch a documentary about health and well-being, like Biggest Little Farm. Help your kid with homework and take some more time for it than usual. Reorganize your emails and delete all the ones you don't need anymore. Buy new running shoes. Inform yourself about new running gear. Watch calisthenics videos on YouTube. Find a CrossFit box in your neighborhood. Schedule your 30-minute progress call with us. Prepare what you want to talk about with me. Plan a short vacation. Find new places to go. Call a friend to ask for advice. Learn more about Professor Tim Noakes. Print some of the pictures you love most and put them in a nice silver photo frame. Book a nice new restaurant. Clean up your computer desktop and make a better folder structure. Find a quick routine to store your files safely, automatic, and make backups in the cloud. Spend some time with the dogs or give any animal some extra attention. Find a nice charity in your neighborhood to support. Give someone a little help who's not asking for it. Help a neighbor. Clean up the garden. Buy flowers. Paint a room in the colors you like. Listen to old music CDs. Did I hear you say you like painting? Go for a swim and learn how to crawl. Do some extra stretching. Get your nails done. Get an old-fashioned shave. Clean your bike and take it for a ride. Buy a helmet. Learn to sing and take a course. Find information about any course you always wanted to do. Call someone and ask for advice on something. Read a book. Read a book? Yes, I've mentioned read a book before. That's right. It was the very first example. It means you have read all the examples. You see how easy it is? So now it's your turn. Give me 50 things you can do on As You Feel days. AFA stands for Accumulated Fatigue Avoidance. Most A-group athletes train too much and too long. They simply follow the schedules they get from today's magazines like Runner's World, from online coaches, and free schedules they find with Google. They are all based on the classic assumption that nothing beats the number of training miles. All copies of the same old school. And they will always make you think you need to train more. Back in 2014, I started to think in a totally different way. And now I'm convinced it's different. It's the opposite, actually. You have to train less miles. The suggested training miles from the traditional schedules you read every day in the magazines are simply too much, way too much. Too many miles for average runners are leading to unwanted fatigue accumulation halfway the training progress, causing all kinds of trouble. The 9-mile marathon way is designed to completely stay away from any kind of fatigue accumulation, while giving you the right amount of a variety of training impulses. The Nijmegen Marathon assumes that in order to optimally prepare you for race day, it is much more beneficial to not accumulate any form of fatigue than the benefits you are supposed to get from those 18 plus mile slow training runs. A new balance. In the Nijmegen Marathon training program, we call it the concept of accumulated fatigue avoidance. In my opinion, those long runs aren't preparing and hardening you for race day. On the contrary, I believe they are the number one reason for failure. You know why? Because the accumulated of fatigue is a silent killer, like boiling the frog slowly. There are two types of fatigue that will creep in slowly, and that's why they are so dangerous. The first type is mental hormonal fatigue. Mental hormonal fatigue accumulation can be purely mental, like stress from work, and hormonal. These processes are the main reason why runners lose their enthusiasm and motivation during the classic 18 plus mile training schedules. You start doubting yourself. Why do I want this? Or why do I do this? Many will start to fear the thought of running a marathon, the suffering and the sacrifice it will require. When these long runs already ask so much of me, what will the full distance be like? I don't think I want that. I don't think I can do this. Combined with the overly long classic training periods, 4 months and more, and the accumulation of lots of training miles, it is very likely that this type of fatigue will knock on your door. Hormonal adrenal fatigue is a response to stress of those overly long training runs. The stress generated by those long runs can bring on big hormonal adrenal fluctuations and sudden rises of insulin production, which cause the blood sugar to drop too much, causing additional feelings of exhaustion. When runners start to drink coffee way more than they are used to, it tells me that they possibly suffer from this type of fatigue. My guess is that 50% of those who quit during their prep weeks suffer from hormone adrenal level fluctuations, which cause mental fatigue, leading to less motivation or even pulling out of the training altogether. The second type of fatigue that will slowly creep in is physical fatigue. In general, physical running-related fatigue is caused by 1. Limited oxygen supply and storage capacity. 2. Limited energy storage in muscle tissue. And 3. Overload-related injuries in joints and filaments. Recovery from fatigue caused by limited oxygen supply is quick. After a sprint, your oxygen storage level is back to a reasonable level within 2 or 3 minutes. Regarding the second point, the storage of energy in your muscle tissue, it's a different story. After a long training or a race, the sugar storage in your muscle cells needs 1 or 2 days to get back to normal levels. Regarding the third point, we are talking a completely different ballgame. Repair of micro-injuries in joints and filaments caused by heavy training, long runs or races needs 2 to 3 weeks to fully recover. Micro-injury related recovery from a marathon may even take 5 to 6 weeks. The last type of physical accumulated fatigue in particular is the main reason why it is so frustrating for most runners when the weekly long runs in the traditional training programs get longer and longer. To most runners, the first 15 to 18 miles long run will be fine. In a week's time, the energy storage in the muscle tissue will be back to normal levels. But the micro-injuries in joints and filaments are not fully recovered yet. So, the second or third long run will still be okay, but less smooth. You start wondering why the first long run went so smooth, why you felt so strong, while the second and third long runs feel different. To prepare yourself for a marathon, it's way more efficient and sufficient to frequently train medium-long 5 to 9 milers. By the time the classic training schedule will tell you to do your 4th and 5th 18+ mile long run, you are already considering skipping this one. You feel it's really better to stay home because for some reason you feel you're not up to it, you're tired, or worse, you feel that shady little injury somewhere scratching the surface. The 9-mile marathon is designed to not get you there. No buildup of any sort of fatigue. No physical accumulated fatigue. No mental, hormonal, or adrenal-based accumulated fatigue. The 9-mile marathon training concept stresses the following points regarding the avoidance of fatigue accumulation to reduce the chances on repetitive stress injury and the loss of motivation and self-confidence. 1. High mileage, high-low training programs who are a total length of 100 days and more with 18+ mile slow training runs and 40+ miles per week are a recipe for disaster. They are not the right basis for age group runners like you and me to successfully prepare for a marathon. 2. You won't find any taper weeks in the 9-mile marathon training schedule. Taper weeks are designed by traditional coaches to recover from too much training during your training period, which is a big mistake. The 9-mile marathon system doesn't want you to build any fatigue at all. So there is no need to taper during your 90-day marathon preparations program, the 9 Mile Away. We're only holding back a little bit in the final week right before your race.